Good morning, viewers, audience, listeners. I hope you are all well. We will continue and we will resume play with the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. Let us continue and begin. We left off talking about the planet Vafilony, Babylon, the 10th planet, and that is where we'll continue. I have no right to open the center of the world, Shambhala, to you. However, the secret is short-lived and eventually will be revealed for you by you. The center of the world bears the beginning of your development, starting from Tibet and going to overseas lands. This distance from the center of the world to sea edges has its cycle of stage development. If beginning was adopted in Tibet, then it was supposed to have its own development, and it lasted for many centuries. Global changes are ahead. Along with this development progressed a parallel development. The parallel development has its own face, namely a multifaceted face. All of this only refers to this planet, the planet Earth. To clarify the meaning of multifaceted face related to measurements, I repeat that there are 9 dimensions on Earth. The dimensions have stages or transitional milestones, which you will pass. But there is also 0, infinity, or the divine. To make it clear, take for example figure 1 and compare it to 7 or 9. You will see the difference between the figures. The same as dimensions, parallel worlds differ on this planet. Although, if you add some figure to another, you will get a sum. The same happens with dimensions. If there is an overlap, sum, it manifests in the form of abnormal phenomena, UFOs, Bigfoot, etc. You should bear in mind that roots can be extracted from everything, and these roots will look like the divine. Already like super development, and it's too early for you to know. Now let's stick to those 9 figures that you can easily understand. Yes, dear reader, I see it isn't so easy for you to understand the above said. Thus, to lighten things up and take an interest in this book, also to relax, I will answer the questions you may have. In every word of this book lies the thought of cosmos, which is also healing. By reading the book, you will feel heat and cold, fatigue and relief, joy in your heart, and spiritual purification, the rebirth of the soul. Now, I will answer the first question of a disciple, then the rest as well. Let's start. Disciple. Will people become immortal in 100 to 1,000 years? Teacher. This is your fantasy. Disciple. Is it possible to cure AIDS? Teacher. Yes. The genetic vaccine will defeat the disease of the century. Disciple. Is it possible to prolong human life to 200 years? Teacher. You will live many lives. The matter is created in cosmos, but the fear of death you should have on you. Try to understand. You can die the right way or the wrong way. Therefore, never wish death to anybody. For I, your teacher, can take any life in 1 second. While Jesus Christ is alive and immortal, you will live for ages. Disciple. Is it true that man descended from apes? Teacher. Charles Darwin descended from it. Disciple. What do you eat? Teacher. Very interesting question. I find it a bit difficult to explain, or more precisely, name these dishes. You have nothing like this. We have ampuloles, containing the composition of nutrients that support our existence. One ampulole can maintain the body in a normal condition for a month. For example, without hunger. Note that food is sterile, processed in special disinfection chambers. As for your food, be careful. Eat less salt, eat less sugar, eat less meat, and eat less fats. Take more from nature: fruit, vegetables, honey, juices, and other fruit drinks. Thus, you will be in perfect health. One more thing. Everything should not be washed with water. In some cases, poured over with hot boiled water. Disciple. Tell us, do you come from Earth? Teacher. Yes, of course. We come from cosmic checks, but you can't see us. Sometimes it happens that you see, but in most cases you have an aggressive attitude. We are UFO for you. We even take some species, people, for examination. We have many people from your region. The surveys are conducted, the influence of climate, environment, Chernobyl, etc., the human body. Sometimes we take and return, but people usually don't remember anything. The people staying with us now will never return to Earth. Yet, during the passage to another dimension, they will meet their families and friends. So here, no need to worry. Although we know that we disturb the state of mind of missing persons, relatives, but victims but your saviors. They go for it consciously. And remember, we do not harm them. We observe the organism. Conditions for existence are excellent here. We have no right to get them back to Earth. Imagine a person is missing for 3 years and then appears. What mess will happen? For you, it is a return from the other side. I understand you, but repeat one more time. They go at their own will. Disciple. Why don't you try to help us get out of difficult economic situations? Teacher. We could help you, but you should understand you will get lazy then. Therefore, look for the way out for yourselves. It will be hard, but still, you will come to your own, namely, to your goal. There will be well-being, and now you should gain experience. I mean, learn the economic experience of Americans, Japanese, and Swedes. Later, you will unite for common survival. In the meantime, look for your way. You are hardworking, and hard work will conquer adversity. Disciple. Please tell us you can influence weather conditions as well? Teacher. No, you create or rather destroy favorable conditions with the nucleus, all sorts of waste emissions, etc. That is why you get surprises from Mother Nature. Disciple. While being in the state of clinical death, some people saw a bright light. What is that? Teacher. This is the other world lightning. Its beauty and airiness. Disciple. Why didn't any of the deceased, why didn't they come back here to our reality? There is a passage from one dimension to another. Teacher. Because life is inexorable, moving forward, and moreover, genetic abilities are lost and they do not recover. Make a conclusion on this basis. To return is impossible, and to move forward in a reality in all dimensions, and therefore don't worry much if someone close departs another dimension, dies. The meeting can happen in the dream. Aura around you receives magnetic fields. The aura itself consists of bunches and eddies of magnetic fields. And when a man passes to another dimension, he passes to magnetic consciousness existence. Therefore, a meeting can occur during sleep under the influence of these magnetic fields of a deceased and affecting the aura of a sleeping man. I think everything is clear here for you. Disciple. Prayers And spells are magic or something else. Teacher. Not magic. It is a combination of correctly combined words, transforming into vibration, monotonous. If a person says prayers right, it helps not only to a sick person, but to the one saying it as well. If we put it simply, the vibration goes towards the outer shell, the aura, which perceives it, forcing out the old, damaging one. It is a brief explanation. I think it's clear to you. If you have to help a man say the prayers, but in a balanced manner, without changing a word, you can tell them to water and give it to a sick person to drink, or a healthy person. Once again, it is all related to magnetic fields and their vibrations. Disciple. Please tell us, how did a human or biological robot appear? Teacher. I will try to answer your question in a language understandable to humans. Believe me, if I give you the time reckonings, you will not understand the date. I mean the date of humans' origin. So, the experiments were held in laboratory settings. It's a very long process. In short, we learned how to produce living organisms. This is a programmed cell of sperm, or Galacetion. However, the cell died in the water emulsion solution of special composition. The overmind divided the cell and invented a life-creating female egg cell, or argon, from Adam's rib. After crossing these cells, the most significant discovery was made, and immediately a concern. There were mutants. For you, it's the primitive people whose brain was large and underdeveloped. Again, the series of experiments. For millennia, the overmind was fighting for a conscious creature in the physical body and succeeded. But don't think you are alone in the universe. Settlement took place throughout the universe. For a positive result, we often had to resettle. Sometimes mixing occurred. Therefore, there are many races and ethnicities on Earth. One more thing. When Earth was formed, there were many cataclysms, because of which the first experiment died. Then other samples were resettled. The climate changed, and again, a failure. It didn't stop the overmind. The process of formation is still in process till present, both the personality and physical astral body. The same was with wildlife. Mutant dinosaurs, saurian, and others appeared. It would be well, but these specimens destroyed the most conscious creature, human. Again, experiments, and finally, some results. For instance, take a simple bird. It's the prototype of our first failure, a flying Saronian. Here's something else. The brain gives information to the body, and the body produces sperm for species propagation. We would not be able to resettle our inventions here all the time. Therefore, we programmed the process in the brain. Sexual intercourse is a kind of dance of cosmos, joy, life, and cognition of environment. Everyone has their own purpose of life. What a human is inherent, this way he lives. Everyone is under constant control. You have an invisible shield around you. Your aura is a magnetic receiving and transmitting device, which holds and sends the entire information about a human to the cosmos. You can't see this aura, but can feel it using dowsing rods or hands. You see, this little cell produces people, owing to the overmind, a biped, two-armed conscious creature bearing a certain program of cosmos only in one cell. And that is already an achievement having no equal apart from the overmind. Who the overmind is a different discussion. One more thing to add. Each cell is passed by the parents, carrying the genes which make you look like your parents. So, respect your mother and father the same as your children will respect you. Disciple. What is the UFO? Teacher. That's a good question. But since you have raised it, here's the answer. There are several types of UFO at the moment. 2,000 years ago, UFO was a lot more different from modern day. The same way as you have started with balloons and now achieved what you have, the same happened with the UFO. I repeat, there are several types, but so far we only talk about one, the helium magnetic aircraft. The helium magnetic aircraft with the magnetic envelope. Their structure is very complex, containing a special metal alloy which includes gold, silver, and genetic plastic material that can destroy the craft at any moment, turning it into a pile of ashes. This is provided on purpose so that you couldn't find out the secret of UFO engineering. There are various types among the aircraft. Carrier its weight, it can range from 50 to 800 tons, etc. And accordingly, carrying smaller aircraft which are operated by 3 to 7 astronauts. It depends upon the purpose of sending the aircraft to your dimension or any other. It has very complex controls. The shapes of flying craft are diverse and depend on the purpose. It is worth noting that when the magnetic shield is switched on, you just can't see the UFO. It is a security measure. I repeat again, you are still quite aggressive towards UFOs. Keep in mind one thing, that UFOs are operated by your gods, people gods, who gave you life and currently protect you. Visit and check. Let it be said roughly, keep an eye on you and your deeds. What is good for you? At all times of life on Earth, the UFO had domination, but came the year of 1947, and humankind, raising knowledge within your framework, became aggressive towards them. Yet time will come for you to realize your mistake. Think about it. Because your newspapers and magazines write a lot about shooting down a UFO, humanoids being dead and examined, you see, it is impossible to shoot down a UFO because it controls every point, military, which can be hazardous but not destroy. And in some cases, UFO can simply punish those trying to do something malicious. Any of your communications can be caught, let alone the fact that every astronaut humanoid knows any language of your civilization perfectly. Or in other words, can read your thoughts. And thoughts don't have a language barrier. Thus, it's always clear who and with what intention approaches the UFO. Many people were on the boards of aircraft. Understand me correctly, many of them stayed on board UFO voluntarily. And none remembers any of this. There is no need. No one will believe them anyway. Still, they have something registered in their memory. They are happy that it happened to them. The helium magnetic units can move. Don't know what to compare them with. Say, at the speed of thought? It cannot be otherwise. Because moving from their dimension to yours doesn't take much effort, but from galaxy to galaxy takes more time. Therefore, UFOs moves instantly. Although there are main bases, the moon, Saturn, Mars. In cosmos, there's no distance. Therefore, there is no acceleration load for astronauts as well, and the design of the ship will not allow it. Once, UFO were chariots of fire for people. For you, they somehow became saucers, and even more, the flying ones, and creatures piloting them became humanoids. Well, humanoid means humane, godlike, and benevolent. The God's creature is cosmic disintegration of the micromagnetic compound into macrotopic graphical granulars and formulas of the positive potential of subtle matter, perceived by your brain, aura, will help clear things for you and understand the essence. What is a thought? Thought is the influence of cosmos on your cortex and entire brain. It's a very complex structure developed by the higher matter. The founder is overmind, which is always near you and in your physical body. Thought is a work of higher matter, invisible to your eye, but perceived by the brain and shell, aura. The brain is a kind of cosmic computer that needs to be developed, and it only happens when you think. Thinking itself makes people develop, and more develop the more they think. Hence, the conclusion is that developed thinking gives you many discoveries, which you apply in your life, and thus everything inexorably moves forward due to the thinking process. Imagine the cosmic space, an inexhaustible source of information. If desired, information can be processed by the brain, which converts everything into a thought. Now, it becomes clear that the relationship between a human and cosmos is inseparable. Even while you sleep, you can get information about the past, present, and future. It proves the relationship of man with the overmind matter again. One more proof is your invisible shell, aura. When there is a connection to cosmos together with the brain, it receives the information on itself. The brain processes, thinks, the body performs, although it happens differently with each of you. Everyone cannot be musicians, for example. There are two types of information, so to say, good and bad, or positive and negative. Positive is set up to a good idea, negative to a wicked or hostile one. There are many examples, but anger is eradicated only by goodness, even at the loss of physical body, here in the dominion of Nagumata. The soul will answer for the deeds. Thoughts can be different too. When a human is born, the living spirit is implanted in the physical body, and along with body growth, the spirituality occurs. And if he develops rational thinking, he is accompanied by luck during life on earth. You have very little time on earth, just a moment in the universe. You should value it and have to develop a positive aspect within a short time, because only after the passage to cosmic existence or any other existence will be easy. Based on the above, let's formulate. The meaning of all life on earth is the embodiment of the spirit in the physical body, development of spirituality for passing to another dimension, soul. Cosmic space. The universe is a huge idea that constitutes overmind. Everything is programmed, planets' movements, sun clock. Their position, weight, and purpose, and all this happens through thought, but of the higher substance. Many things can be taken through the process of thinking, thought, from the great space. Even the book you're reading can only have a positive impact on your existence. Micromolecular movement of information is perceived by the integrated circuits of the higher matter. The brain or microoscillographic probe of galaxy. Understand the brain, figuratively, consists of microchips of the higher living matter. And everything is easily explained because you can find a point on the brain cortex or the chip of pleasure, sight, grief, offense, etc., which can be stimulated artificially. For thousands of years, the overmind is struggling for the improvement of a brain and thought so you can hear your teacher. But only a few hear. And thanks to those few, the overmind should achieve a positive result. The teacher's thought must produce its invention, and when it happens, there will be flourishing of rational thought. Think about that. You have many universities that are established for thinking development. It's from your standpoint, but things are different. A graduate from such institution forgets even what he knew. Only very few take positive information in centuries. It's not a secret that an illiterate man can become a scientist if he understands his teacher. However, your society of universe degree will not understand. A man talking to me can bring more benefit to the society because his teacher, Overmind, helps him and willingly communicates with him, reaching a higher level of thinking, of common sense of such thinking. The man understands that he's not alone. His teacher, God, is with him. The topic of thought and new thinking should be recognized by society, whether you want it or not. I understand it's complicated to indoctrinate it to everyone, but you have a wise saying, a spark will kindle a flame. Wise words that descended from heaven. One more thing. A person willing to communicate with the teacher must be sure that he is created by the Overmind in the great space and a symbol of Overmind power of immense Nagmata. Every creation, thought, movement is the work of higher matter reason, which keeps and controls all of you without exception and without realizing it. Many ruin themselves here on earth by not thinking about the future. Think about the words last judgment. It isn't said in vain, and only those who get these words can change and become sensible people who will welcome and be welcomed by the teacher. No, the topic is not to frighten you, but it needs understanding on your part. I repeat, only common sense will bring you to a sublime spiritualization, and the gates of beauty and cheerful further existence will be open for you. Everything that's written here is sensible thought, kind thought, and thought of eternity. A unique creation of universe which with open heart goes towards you, your children, and common development. If a child is developed, happy is the father. Very wise words your teacher gives you. With confidence, I close this topic. The subject of new thinking, and I, your teacher, will be happy if you start new thought for the benefit of your development. The universe, the Overmind, matter, and God. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I wish you all well. Good day, and God bless.